Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2017 video. Today we're on the Creative Rails York to Peterborough Modern. This is one of the scenarios from the recently released DP Simulations free scenario pack. I've covered some of these before on the greatest domain lines of my Class 321 series, and the scenarios are just top notch. You can't really fault them. Now they've done one for this route that was very neglected scenario-wise, so I'm incredibly pleased about that. I haven't driven this one yet. This will be my first time. I am missing some sort of repaint for the Virgin 221, which I can't seem to work out what it's asking for. But I will find that out and sort that out another time. For today, I'm a little bit pushed for time, so I'm going to do this scenario as we are. It is in the NMT with the Valenta pack, which I'm very pleased with. And we'll get going. Let's just have a quick look around. I know we'll have to do some setting up, but what we got, 91 set there, and this is set in GNER days. I don't know what year this is actually set in, actually. We'll have a look when the blurb comes up if there is one for it. If not, we'll have a look with the F1. Right then, so this is DPS FP06-07 1 Quebec 190839 heat and traction rolling stock maintenance depot to Derby RTC, which is the Railway Technical Centre. Starting at York, you're currently awaiting a path on the main line. Once given a clear signal, proceed to Selby before changing ends, then heading south to Doncaster. So we're actually going down to Doncaster via Selby on this run. Let's try and keep to time, so let's get tail lights on, markers on, light to day, train supplies on from the other end. It's been a couple of days, well, it's been a couple of weeks actually since I've driven this. I'm going when a 90's going as well. Shift V or Control V. There we go, Control V for my little windscreen wiper on the camera. It's little touches like that really do make this. Tell you what I won't have done. Oh no, they are on, we're alright. Got tail lights. There's another 91 coming in. And this is in GNER days, so I mean I'm very, very happy with this. The whole pack's sort of set around that era. One of the scenarios is even the Cotswold Rail hired in Class 43. So the NMT's actually been on the network since I think 2003. From what I can picture-wise and stuff, the earliest I seem to get a picture of it is about 2003. There might be a little bit of crash, bang and wallop and a few little coughs. I've got my eldest daughter off with me, so she's out in the shed while I'm doing this. I can't leave her in the house by herself, so I do apologise if there's any extra noise in this one. So the new measurement train is a specialised train which operates in the United Kingdom to assess the condition of track so that engineers can determine where to work. It's a specially converted high-speed train consisting of 2 Class 43 power cars and 5 Mark III carriages. It can check the condition of most main lines and some secondary routes, operating a 13-week rolling cycle. We're moving over here, aren't we? So it can do any. It's permitted the same as an HST, so its route availability is exactly the same as an HST. So I have actually covered part of, this bit of the route in a scenario in the 158. Oh, just weird flashing boards. I thought that was some orange men on the track there. So I mean, the NMT was pretty much from the start. It fell off the back of the Hatfield train crash, which was caused by over gauge corner cracking, and I think they started this, according to this, in September 2002, and it was originally ex-Virgin Cross Country Class 43 power cars, 43, 013, 014 and 062. So it's not the only country to use a fixed formation train basically to do this sort of work. Japan on the Shinkansen network have the Dr. Yellows, quite a few actually. I don't think, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think if anybody else uses them. Now there is a yellow TGV, but that is was a post vehicle, not a track inspection vehicle. There used to be a copy of it for when this was Railworks back in the day. There was a freeware version of that kicking around. So if we look at this on the route, you'll kind of see how this works. So we're going up to Selby, and then we're coming back down towards Doncaster. I've never actually looked at this in this map view, you know. So the train measures the contact between the rails, wheels and overhead electric supply line. Lasers and other instruments are used to make other measurements of track geometry and other features such as overhead line and stagger and the track gauge twist and cam. On the West Coast main line, particular care has been taken to ensure that clearance are maintained for the use of tilting trains. The train captures video footage from the front and rear power cars and video of the pantograph and wheel interface. So that's what that camera is on the front. The development vehicle also includes a video-based system utilising image recognition systems to look for defects such as missing clips. The vehicle also houses both contact and non-contact overhead line monitoring systems used to detect faults in overhead wires. So that is like a pantograph. I don't know if it's modelled on this, you know. No, I don't think it is. But the one of them does have a pantograph coach. White lights next to the pantograph project a line followed by cameras to enable the height, stagger and wear of the contact wire to be monitored. The wear on the contact wire is measured as the width of a strip on the underside where the pantograph trains come onto contact and wear away the cable. If the original thickness of the cable is known, it can be converted into percentage of remaining area, which in turn, related to a maximum allowable wear, can be given an estimation of remaining life. No traction or system power is drawn from the pantograph as the train is diesel powered. So it's basically saying they know how thick that cable was when it went up. They stick a pantograph over the top and measure some of the resistance that comes back from it, and they can tell how thick it is. Which is actually pretty clever. I think there was even at one point a like a conference room on board one of these. We'll probably go on to tell us a little bit more about this as we go. I tried to get something a little bit more official than just a Wikipedia page to have a read of, but information on it is pretty scant. So the track calling system vehicle has banks of screens allowing the team of 3 operators to view range of system outputs, including track faults, train location, radio signal strength. So that's for the GSMR test as well. That was what this was used quite effectively for when installing the GSMR system. So that's the GSM is global system modular communication, something like that. And the R is the radio bit, basically, and that they don't have one in here because it's the older version, pre-GSMR. Basically uses the same network in theory as your mobile phone does, whereas the NRN radio didn't. It used radio frequencies, so literally it was a lot more patchy than, say, GSMR. GSMR is a lot more reliable and secure. There's this global system for mobile communication, and then the R stands for railway. The first GSM network was Vodafone over here. That was how Vodafone started. So one of the Messing cars hosts a system for monitoring and commissioning of Network Rail's various radio systems, including GSMR and CSR. And NRN. I don't think any of NRN still works, I'm not sure. It's allocated to heat and TMD, returning there for scheduled maintenance every Sunday. Maintenance of the recording equipment is carried out by the RTC in Derby. I've just found, there is another TGV. It is called Iris 320. And there's a pantograph monitoring dome on the top. So there is a TGV version. I just think it's cool to have something yellow to play about with. I think it's one thing that has been really lacking in train sim is on-track plant of some kind. I would hope to see with the simulation system that's been implemented with Train Sim World that on-track plant machinery might become more accessible. We could get it to do a little bit more than you could do on here. Do you know what I mean? I quite like the idea of flitting about with a tamper at 60 mile an hour down the line to get to a possession site, working in possessions. Pretty good. There used to be a class 31 scenario when you got into a possession, a ballast run. I can't remember what route that was for. I've never driven this bit in the daytime. It's always been night. I know this route gets a lot of flack, but I still quite like it. I'm still waiting for a sale until I can do the East Coast mainline south up to Royston. Because I've got to punt South London network plus. Didn't realise I was going a bit fast there. I don't know if this is an accurate representation of Selby Station. I've never been, to be honest with you. Look at that bridge at the end there. We're going to have a look at that. While it's ticking about. That's cool. It's like a swing bridge. Right, we need to switch ends here, so let's stick you guys on. You guys off. You guys off. And we'll do what we didn't do the last time, we'll set the train supply from this end. There we go, did it say we could depart when we were ready? Yeah, cool. I love the smoke effects, it's just so good. We've got a buffered end this time, which I quite like. You guys are probably going to start getting bored with the HST, but I'm not. I'll tell you that for nothing. Especially the Valenta pack, just does it for me completely and utterly. Hang on a second. Retro. Is it like meant to be an old Cavalier? Protony, I don't know. Really bad at keeping on top of my speed today, so I'm trying to read ahead as well at the same time. Unfortunately, none of my manuals cover anything that the NMT does. Oh, I just saw something quite interesting here. Once every 2 months, so this is talking about the TGV version of this. Once every 2 months, RS320 takes a survey of the Channel Tunnel for Eurotunnel since December 2010 and of High Speed 1 for Network Rail. Since the 4th and 5th of May 2011, the cross-channel chips are diesel hauled by Eurotunnel class 0001s and undertaken at 100 kilometres an hour. I never knew that. So they're the Eurotunnel diesels are Mac D1004s, I think they are. And I think NS in Holland have the 6400. They're MTU powered as well, funnily enough. MTU and ABB, I think, was people who built them. And their TOPS code actually is class 21, which is quite interesting. Because they wouldn't be the first class 21, it was the North British class 21. I mean, I'd talk to the chance on it. I would love to see it in Train Simulator. I know it would be an incredibly long route, and 20 minutes if it's in a tunnel, which everybody will go, it's boring being in a tunnel, but I think I'd love it. Eurostar is one of my favourite trains. It's right in my era. Right in my era. The 373s are awesome. It's another big spectacle that happened over the weekend. So Sunday was the Flying Scotsman, a 225 set, a 125 set, and the Azuma. I can't believe all the whinging that came from that. People were going, it's just a publicity stunt. Well, of course it was. What else was it meant to be? It did make me die. Oh, the Deltic's not there, the Deltic's not there, the Deltic's not there. And then I heard some bloke say that on Facebook that the Deltic didn't get enough love. Now, and it was a forgotten about locomotive. I think far from it. When I used to go to a lot of preserved railways years and years ago, every diesel gala, the highlight was a 55, was a Deltic. I got bored of seeing Deltics. I'm not now, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see a Deltic or two these days. But they were everywhere, they were in everything. Any of the modelling magazines, it was always about the Deltics. There was Deltics in Great Western Railway's terminus stations, you know what I mean? And it was there. There just isn't enough track to put them all on. And if you want to start getting picky about it, why wasn't there an A4? Where would the list end? It was Virgin that put it together. So yes, their trains are going to take priority, aren't they? And the Azuma itself is class 800. I don't like Azuma, it's a silly name. It sounds like Toyota or something, doesn't it? It was put together by them. So they're going to want to get their publicity out of it as well. Unfortunately, the railway is no longer run for enthusiasts. Not that it ever was. And I think in this day and age of corporate privatisation and mass businesses, publicity stunt or not, I think it was quite spectacular that even came about. You think in the last couple of weeks we've had two really big things involving steam trains. You had Flying Scotsman on the East Coast Main Line the other day with the others, and then what was it? Last week was the 100 mile an hour with Tornado. So I mean, these things are nothing but good news for preservationists and fans of kettles. And don't get me wrong, I like looking at a steam train. I like the sound, I like the smell. But bar that, then they don't do too much for me, really. I love the engineering that's in them. And they have their place in history, do not get me wrong. And I'm very pleased there are lots of really hard working, dedicated people out there that give up a lot of their time to keep that sort of thing going. It's just not particularly my bag. It's not my bag. I prefer diesel and electrics. Not even a massive fan of hydraulics. I like a Class 52, but that's just got quite a cool cab and it's all a bit open. But warships and things like that, nah. Not really my cuppa. Yeah, if you look back to when I was sort of younger, all anybody spoke about in any of the preservation magazines was Deltics and Class 50s. That was it. And that's not having a bash at Deltics. I love them to bits. One of the best sounding trains ever made, ever, anywhere. They were awesome at what they did. I would love to see Armstrong Powerhouse do a Deltic enhancement pack. I mean, that would be really cool. If it's done to the same sort of standard as this is. Slow down now. So yeah, I think currently we should just be very happy that we have companies that are still willing to put on spectacles like that, regardless of their motives behind it, really. Another HST. Well, we want to say we can't do it because it's just business for Virgin. Well, yeah, it is business for Virgin. God, have we been causing some delays? Oh, it's tail lights on as well. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Cool, there's even things in the yard. So you can really make this route come to life when you start sticking stock in it, can't you? It does make it a lot more bearable. I've got to go back in the 91 as well. That hasn't had enough love recently. We've got a 66, 67 Thunderbird sitting there as well. Again, just another, for a free scenario that somebody spent their time doing, amazing. Very, very impressed. Thank you ever so much again, DP Simulations. You have smashed it. Let's have a quick look at what we've got over in Doncaster Works. So we've got some Mark 3s and the old Midland Mainline livery. Got over here a couple of 47s. So this must be set about early 2000s, I would think. Most of this scenario pack was. Well done, driver. You've successfully managed to complete all the tasks required of you this afternoon. Once again, guys, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. See you later.